Most people choose not to be rich. For 90% of the population, being rich is too much of a hassle. So they invent sayings that go, I'm not interested in money. I'll never be rich. I don't have to worry. I'm still young. When I make some money, then I'll think about my future. My husband, wife handles the finances. The problem with those statements is that they rob the person who chooses to think such things of two things. One is time, which is your most precious asset. The second is learning. Good morning, everybody. Hope you're all having a great day so far. I always have a funny background from the morning thing that I do, and then it ends up on the Zoom that I do the reading on. So speaking of reading, let's get into it. We are reading Rich Dad, Poor Dad. It is an amazing book. We have read quite a lot of it. And let's get into it. So it motivates you to get into your goals and into your tasks to be able to achieve amazing things today. Today, we are talking about make daily choices, the power of choice. Here we go. Choice is the main reason people want to live in a free country. We want the power to choose. Financially, with every dollar we get in our hands, we hold the power to choose our future. Just let Milan into the Zoom. We choose the financially, with every dollar we get in our hands, we hold the power to choose our future. To be rich, poor, or middle class. Quickly pin the video. There we go. Our spending habits reflect who we are. Poor people simply have poor spending habits. The benefit I had as a boy was that I loved playing Monopoly constantly. Nobody told me Monopoly was only for kids, so I just kept playing the game as an adult. I also had a rich dad who pointed out to me the difference between an asset and a liability. So a long time ago, as a little boy, I chose to be rich, and I knew that all I had to do was learn to acquire assets, real assets. My best friend Mike had an asset column handed to him, but he still had to choose to learn to keep it. Many rich families lose their assets in the next generation simply because there was no one trained to be a good steward over their assets. Now, I also love Monopoly. I always had to beg my parents to even buy Monopoly because my parents didn't like playing Monopoly, but I did. So we got Monopoly and I played, but I didn't have anybody to teach me the actual fundamentals of how the game works. So it took me a little bit longer, but I was always fascinated by the game. And life really is a game. And so if you can play more Monopoly, if you can play more Cashflow, if you can do the online simulator, which takes it to a whole new level again, which we do, Mladen and I, who's on the Zoom, he's the creator of the game, and I'm the facilitator, then you can start to trick your brain into doing things that you don't think necessarily are possible for you. Because your brain doesn't know the difference between playing Monopoly or playing in real life, playing Cashflow or playing in life, doing the simulator or it being real. Your brain will start to think that you are somebody different. There's an interesting study that they did around Monopoly. They got some people to play Monopoly. And the people who won the game of Monopoly ended up being a little bit more arrogant when they went back out onto the street. So they did a test and they got them to get back into their cars and they had somebody cross at a pedestrian crossing after they had played Monopoly. The people who won, the people who felt that they were more wealthy in the game, didn't let the people cross as quickly as the ones who didn't win in the game. And so the game can really affect, that's obviously a slightly negative effect, but in real life, you can still stay humble and you are able to create amazing things for yourself by playing a game that's going to give your brain the feeling that it is possible for you to achieve these things in real life. Because very often we sabotage. And the reason we sabotage is because we don't think we're good enough. We don't think we deserve it. And so our brain will look for ways to stop us from achieving the goal that we want to achieve. So playing the game gives you the feeling that you are doing it. But remember to stay humble after the game. Even if you win, stop the car and let pedestrians cross. Most people choose not to be rich. For 90% of the population, being rich is too much of a hassle. So they invent sayings that go, I'm not interested in money. I'll never be rich. I don't have to worry. I'm still young. When I make some money, then I'll think about my future. My husband, wife handles the finances. The problem with those statements is that they rob the person who chooses to think such things of two things. One is time, which is your most precious asset. The second is learning. Having no money should not be an excuse to not learn, but that is a choice we all make daily. The choice of what we do with our time, our money, and what we put in our heads. That is the power of choice. All of us have choice. I just choose to be rich, and I make that choice every day. So you don't have to be super wealthy when you start out. You can take a lot of time to first learn. Everything that you learn is going to be valuable at some point. Yes, you do need to, at some point, switch that up and start converting that learning into earning. But take the time when you are younger to learn. Even if you're a little bit older, take the time to learn first so that you have that foundation, so that you have the basic structure in place to understand how things work. Because even if you outsource it to somebody else, if you say, give your money to a broker, or you give your money to a financial planner, or you give your money to somebody who knows what they are doing, you need to know what you are doing as well. I remember when I was doing the hotel school, which is, it was a hotel management school. I remember we had cooking lessons. And one of the students said, why are we learning to cook? We are not going to be chefs. We're going to be managers. And I remember the teacher said, looked them dead in the eye and said to them, look, if you are going to be a manager, you're going to be managing reception staff. You're going to be managing housekeeping staff. You're going to be managing people in the kitchen. So how are you going to know whether they are doing a good job or not? How are you going to know whether they are throwing away too much stuff? How are you going to know if the food tastes good if you have not learned to cook yourself? So before you do anything, you have to learn how to do it. You don't have to know how to do it extremely well, but you do need to know how to do it on a basic level so that you can at least have that conversation with somebody. If you can do it on your own, that is wonderful, but nothing is ever completely on your own. There's always some assistance that you need to get if you want to reach a higher level. So there's only so far you can get investing on your own. There's only so far you can get with real estate investing on your own. There's only so far you can get, well, the business, it's practically impossible on your own. But there's only so far you can get on your own. So then you need to know the basics in order to be able to engage somebody else and get somebody else's assistance. Because if you can't have that conversation, then you are most likely to just get swindled out of your money. What's the saying? A fool and his money are quickly parted. So make sure you know the basics, which is why I suggest playing Monopoly, playing Cashflow, playing the simulator with us, and you will start to understand the basics and maybe even get a little bit further than the basics so you can have that conversation, so you can get somebody to assist you with your investing. And then it's so much better than doing it on your own because you have so many more options and you have more expertise that is pooled that you can pull from. So make sure that you do that. Invest first in education. I think we read that section. Let's have a look. No, we haven't read that part yet. Invest first in education. In reality, the only real asset you have is your mind, the most powerful tool we have dominion over. Each of us has the choice of what we put in our brain once we're old enough. You can watch TV, read golf magazines, or go to ceramics class or a class on financial planning. You choose. Most people simply buy investments rather than first investing in learning about investing. A friend of mine recently had her apartment burglarized. Thieves took her electronics and left all the books. And we all have that same choice. 90% of the population buys TV sets and only about 10% buy business books. So what do? I go to seminars. I like it when they are at least 2 days long because I like to immerse myself in a subject. In 1973, I was watching this guy on TV who was advertising a 3-day seminar on how to buy real estate for nothing down. I spent $385, and that course has made me at least $2 million, if not more. But more importantly, it brought me life. I don't have to work for the rest of my life because of that one course. I go to at least 2 such courses every year. I love CDs and audiobooks. The reason I can easily review what I've just heard. I just listened to an investor say something I completely disagreed with. Instead of becoming arrogant and critical, I simply listened to that 5-minute stretch at least 20 times, maybe more. But suddenly, by keeping my mind open, I understood why he said what he said. It was like magic. I felt like I had a window into the mind of one of the greatest investors of our time. I gained tremendous insight into the vast resources of his education and experience. This is very important. Make sure that you find out who is successful. And even if you disagree with them, that's probably why you're at your level and that they're at a different level. If you continue to do things in the way that your level does things, then you're not going to grow or improve because you already know it all. But if you look at somebody who is more successful than you, be open-minded and find out why they believe what they believe. Find out how that is going to be different to the result that you're getting, and it will allow you to get to a different level. Be open to it and make sure that it's ethical. So some people are going to teach you how to do something because they've done it, but it might not be ethical. Make sure that it aligns with you, but be open-minded to people who are more successful, who do things in a different way to you. If you do not change the way you do things, then obviously nothing will change. This is what I tell people at Cashflow all the time. They join Cashflow, they play Cashflow, and if they can break through doing things the way that they've always done it, if they make some changes, if they look at different ways of doing things, it might be successful, it might not be successful. But when they can break the mold of doing things the same way all the time, that is when they start to achieve greater success, not only in the game, but they also start to achieve greater success in life, because you cannot get a different result by doing the same thing again and again and again. If you've read this far, arrogance is not one of your problems. Arrogant people rarely read or listen to experts. Why should they? They are the center of the universe. There are so many intelligent people who argue or defend when a new idea clashes with the way they think. In this case, their so-called intelligence combined with arrogance equals ignorance. Each of us knows people who are highly educated or believe they are smart, but their balance sheet paints a different picture. A truly intelligent person welcomes new ideas. Excuse me, for new ideas can add to the synergy of other accumulated ideas. Listening is more important than talking. If that were not true, God would not have given us 2 ears and only 1 mouth. Too many people think with their mouth instead of listening in order to absorb new ideas and possibilities. They argue instead of asking questions. Very, very important. I take a long view on my wealth. I do not subscribe to the get-rich-quick mentality most lottery players or casino gamblers have. I may go in and out of stocks, but I'm long on education. If you want to fly an airplane, I advise taking lessons first. I'm always shocked at people who buy stocks or real estate, but never invest in their greatest asset, their mind. Just because you bought a house or two does not make you an expert at real estate. And to prove that it is important to be able to be open-minded to things and to not let small things worry you, I purposefully skipped one paragraph. And so I'm going to go back and read that paragraph in order to be able to empower you to be able to do the same thing. Ask questions, be open, do things slightly differently, be open-minded, and don't be embarrassed by where things might go wrong, because the only way that you're going to learn is to set aside that embarrassment and come back and make adjustments and to own what happened and to make improvements in your life. So we were talking about, I gained tremendous insight into the vast resources of his education and experience. The net result, I still have the old way I used to think. And I now have a new way of looking at the same problem or situation. I have 2 ways to analyze a problem or trend, and that is priceless. Today, I often say, how would Donald Trump do this, or Warren Buffett, or George Soros? The only way I can assess their vast mental power is to be humble enough to read or listen to what they have to say. Arrogant or critical people are often people with low self-esteem who are afraid of taking risks. That's because if you learn something new, you are then required to make mistakes in order to fully understand what you have learned. There we go. Never be afraid or embarrassed to go back and admit to something that might not have gone so well. There is probably a big lesson in there, and it's going to allow you to stop doing things that you've always done them so that you can start doing them in a new way, which will get you new results. Keep doing things the way you are right now, and you'll continue to get the same results. Make some shifts and adjustments, and the best place to do that is at a cash flow game, because there you can do different things and succeed or completely fail without any financial consequences. When you get to real life, you want to make sure that you've already practiced and you've already made some mistakes so that you know what to avoid. Because in the game, mistakes cost you nothing. In real life, mistakes are extremely valuable and you will still make some, but you don't want to make the really, really big ones because they can hurt you a lot and there are some severe consequences to them. So I hope you've enjoyed that chapter. Next time we are reading Choose Friends Carefully, The Power of Association. If you enjoyed that and if you'd like to see more of these videos or if you'd like to start at the beginning, you can go to the Passive Cashflow Club and watch the videos there. Make sure that you subscribe and like. That is obviously very helpful. But also the subscribe is helpful for you because we have new videos coming out. I'm actually going to be filming some later today. We've got some on credit cards and whether you should get them or not, and why the experts can't agree on whether you should get them or not. We've got some videos on some things that I've been doing. And I'm going through the Cashflow Club and asking everybody what kinds of questions they have that you might have the same issues with. And we'll go through and we'll talk about how to solve those challenges. So it's going to be very informative content that is going to be very useful for you. So would love to see you at the Passive Cashflow Club. Always great having you here for the reading as well. And if you would like to know more about the Cashflow Club, or if you'd like to know more about the online version that takes it to a whole new level, which is more realistic and will teach you more about investing than even just the game itself, then you can get in touch through Instagram. First of all, you can see what I'm up to. You can message me directly and ask me about cash flow, or tell me what kind of questions you have and what kind of video content you'd like me to make so that I can help answer your financial questions. So you can get me at business_team_6_official. I would love to get to know more of you, especially on Bigo. My Bigo is full of a bit of spam, so it's hard to get through to me that way. But if you get in touch on Instagram, we'll be able to have a conversation. I'm keen to hear your questions, and I'm keen to get to know more of you. So would love to see you at business_team_6_official. I'm going to leave you to have an amazing day. I am extremely grateful to have had you all join this morning. I am looking forward to getting to know many more of you, seeing you for more readings. And I'm going to leave you to have an amazing day. Go out and achieve some great things towards your goals so that you can live the life of your dreams, because that is something that you absolutely deserve. I'll see you all very, very soon for the next reading.